and cancel the event, although you might just hike up there anyway because some nights the weather clears off, warms up just enough, but not too much, gets very still, and the spinner fall is unusually heavy. Sometimes, not always. And I am not being sarcastic when I say that trout are known to be particularly fond of spinners. On rare, overcast, drizzly afternoons, the red-quilled dunhatch can last late, and the spinner fall can come early, giving you hours of good fishing with a transition point when both forms of the bug are on the water at once. Many trout can be caught on dry flies then if you're smart enough to notice what's happening with the weather, drop everything at home, and get up there early. Under gray skies and drizzle, dusk is usually too late. Wet, gloomy summer days are unusual in semi-arid Colorado, and this has only happened 3 times that I know of in something like 10 years. I missed it once, although I sure heard about it later from some friends who were there. They caught lots of trout, including some big ones. It was great, they said, in a not-so-subtle tone of accusation. The assumption out here is you should always go fishing, period. If you don't, even for what might appear in other circles to be a good reason, the suspicion is that you are getting uppity, or, even worse, lazy. You get some grief for staying home, and when the fishing was great, well, people will forgive you for missing it once or twice, but no more than that. On other days when I was there and ready, the air got too cool, or a stiff breeze came up, or the drizzle got too drizzly or something. Once it was looking just right until a sheet of hail drew itself across the canyon like a gauze curtain, and my friend Coke Winter and I ended up huddling in the flimsy cover of a juniper tree, getting whacked hard by a few less hailstones than if we'd been standing out in the open. A big one got me square on the back of the hand when I reached out to pick a nearly ripe raspberry. By morning I had a bruise the size of a quarter. It was all over in about 20 minutes, and the evening slid into ideal textbook conditions. Cool, still, dusky, humid, except that not a single swallow flashed in the air over the stream to eat the bugs because there were no flies, and not a single trout rose for the same reason. The sky was clear with stars, the air was freshly washed and thick with clean organic smells. The reservoir was a dark, disc-shaped mirror. To anyone but a fly fisherman, it would have seemed peaceful and quite pretty. We figured the hail had killed all the flies and knocked all the trout senseless, so we went home. Coke doesn't drink anymore, so we couldn't even stop for a beer. For the absolutely cosmic spinner fall, it seems as though perfect conditions have to also be preceded by perfect conditions. And I don't know how far back in time this meteorological juggling act has to go. I do know that even a slightly larger dose of what would normally be ideal is deadly. I suppose there's a lesson there. It seems like your best bet for a workmanlike day-to-day spinner fall is a clear, warm evening with no wind. This kind of conservative weather stops short of being the model of perfection, but it doesn't court disaster either. The more you fish, the more you start seeing these things the way a farmer does. It doesn't have to be great, just please don't let it be awful. On those days you hike up the stream with the last direct rays of sunlight still on the water. This is a shallow, stoop-shouldered, forested canyon with a few rock outcrops at the water and a few more standing up at the lip. The slope is gentle enough lower down to allow for some patches of wild grass. The stream has a sand and sandstone bottom, so even when it's clear, it can seem to have a brownish cast to it. Some evenings it gets amber for a few seconds just before the light goes off it. A good 100 yards downstream from the riffle we always start at, You can see the swarm of mayflies